What is the biggest worry we have of today? It might surprise you. I'm about to show you a story that might really change your mind about the way you think about what people might want in this country, socialism, what's going on in New York, what have you. So, as you know, this is Billy Tea Gardens Today, and you see I'm in the kitchen, but on this Thanksgiving Eve, I'm not cooking. I want to talk about something else that might be cooking up in this country. And you see signs of it in New York, Dearborn, Michigan, that is, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and this is a takeover. And this is one of the scariest things I see. And I see this little girl that's been all over YouTube, and her name is Younmi Park. I think I said that right. But anyways, she is one of the very few people that has ever deflected or gotten out of or escaped socialist, communist, dictator North Korea. And this is one of the scariest stories, the most heartbreaking I've ever seen in my life. Now, I don't have the full story for you. I've got some clips I want to show you. And there's a few places that you can find her full story. And I'll tell you where I found the best one. But first, what I want to show you is on this guy I watched, Nick Shirley. And I've gotten interested in him here lately. And he done an interview with this girl, Younmi Park. And like I say, for those that would like to see the U.S. become socialist, communist, whatever, it's being pushed, it's being spread, think again. Listen to this little girl's story before you say you want a socialist country. And before we do that, if you guys don't mind, that one thing I ask you to do every time, please, 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 go down, subscribe, like this video, please. Turn on notifications so you'll know when my next video comes out. And please share this. Share this with everybody you can so this word about what's going on gets around and we can stop this madness going on from this country that everyone says they love so much. And let's stop this. But I want to show you, here's a clip on Nick Shirley of this young girl. And she talks about just a clip of what it was like in North Korea. In every show I've seen her on, she tells the same story. So, you know, it can't help but be true. So watch this clip and see what I'm talking about.
In America, usually tyranny comes in the name of compassion and equality. They come and make these sweet, sweet promises of paradise. They created the biggest concentration camp in human history. The whole country became a concentration camp. Nobody is allowed to leave North Korea. North Koreans don't know they are enslaved by a dictator. So if you don't know you're a slave, how do you fight to be free?
And how much of a risk do you think North Korea actually is to the United States of America?
Well, their eventual goal is destroying America and destroying capitalist societies.
What fears you most about fleeing socialism and seeing it coming back here into the United States?
That was just a little glimpse of this girl's story. And I'm telling you, it gets worse from there. How would you like to starve to death every day? Live on grass, bugs, grasshoppers, spiders, whatever. The only protein the girl got was grasshoppers. When she came to the U.S., she couldn't believe people eat salads and stay in shape. There, it was survival. This is crazy. And this is what people in the U.S., that's what they want? I don't think so. They don't know what true tyranny is, what true dictatorship is. They want to call our president dictator or whatnot. They don't know what a true dictator is. Go to North Korea. Go to China. Go anywhere. See what you think. And then, you know, we've got the Islamic Brotherhood trying to take over. The Muslim Brotherhood trying to take over. Dearborn, Michigan. That's what I'm talking about. Look what's going on in Minneapolis. All the fraud. $250 million case, $1.7 million case, $2.7 million case. How much worse does it have to get before people in this country actually wake up? Everybody's fighting ICE. I don't get it. You know, something's got to be done here, or we're going to become Muslim. They're going to take over, as you see all over social media. And, you know, that's all I watch is podcasts, social media. And, you know, that's all I watch. This is my life. And, you know, something's got to be done here. Here's another clip I want to show you. This is off the Sean Ryan show. Now, if you really want to see a full show, she's also on Megyn Kelly and some others. But I saw Nick Shirley and Sean Ryan. And Sean Ryan's show is like a 4 or 5 hour show, maybe longer. And it gives her whole story. You want the whole story? Watch the Sean Ryan show and check out this young girl on his podcast. But for now, I want to show you a clip from his show of what she had to say. Watch this.
It was just stories we hear, right? It's in the 50s, they had a land reform. And that was when the regime was promising to North Korean people that we are going to abolish poverty and inequality in any forms. We are going to be all equally doing well. Everything is going to be taken care of by the government. Everything will be free. Healthcare is going to be free. Housing is going to be free. The food is going to be free. Everything is going to be free. Nobody can ever trade anything, but nobody can ever own anything. They abolished private property. So nobody can own a home. They can own a cow. They can own a car. They can own a house. They can own anything. So, but the thing is, at the time, North Koreans actually believed that that was a paradise, socialist paradise, right? We are equally doing all well. So for that little, people gave everything to the regime at the time, and there was not much of a battle between the people giving that to the regime. And the people, some people who did not disagree, they get executed, obviously. There are 3 generations get executed along with the people who rebel against the
I
parties.
read this. I saw this also in my research, I watched some documentaries on North Korea. That way some of your story was still surprising to me. So one of the things that I saw was that if you go against the state, or if you commit a crime, or if you vote the wrong way, then you'll be imprisoned. What came was that there the 3-generation punishment. So if I voted against the state, I would go to prison, my son would go to prison, and if he had a son or a daughter, then they would be born in prison and spend the rest of their life in prison because their blood is guilty blood.
Wow.
Is that across the board over there, no matter what the crime is? Or
Now,
is there...
friends, imagine that. They don't you get in trouble, they don't just lock you up there. And that could be here, the same thing. They can lock 3 to 8 generations up, or they can take you out, or whatever. It's up to them. I mean, and there, even when you're little, she only went to like the 1st grade. Even when you're little, you're made to tell what somebody else is doing, to criticize somebody. There, you're not allowed to think. You're not allowed to have an opinion. Nothing. Insanity. And that's what colleges, professors, they're pushing communism. It's what they're pushing. You know, to our young kids, to our kids. It starts probably in high school, maybe before that. And then by the time they're out of college, you can only imagine. It's what we've got. Now this next clip, I found this tonight. And remember your everybody's friend Zoran Mandami? I done one of my very first videos was of him, and it was Mandami is no good. I think it's no good for New York. I think I was way ahead of this, and after watching this show, it doesn't surprise me of what he could be into. Doesn't surprise me at all what he could be up to, what's going on with him. So I found this clip on Fox News, and I want you to check out this clip. This guy, he claims to have a good idea what Mandami's up to. Check this clip out and see what I'm talking about.
Settles and reality sets in. Our next guest has a warning for New York and the country about Zohran Mamdani. He calls Mamdani a Trojan horse for the Red-Green Alliance. We first introduced you to this alliance months ago on this show. It's two groups you'd think have very different philosophies, but they are united in their distaste for the West. The red is Marxism. The green is Islamism. The Middle East Forum describes it as, quote, an alliance of convenience between leftists, including progressives, socialists, and communists on the one hand, and on the other hand, Islamists, Muslims who actively pursue the political goals of Islam, such as Islamic supremacism, and the punishment of those non-compliant with Islam. They went on to say, what commonalities bring these two disparate collectives together? Both leftists and Islamists hate Western countries and Western civilization, especially the United States of America. Joining me now, the son of the founding Hamas leader, Mossab Hassan Youssef. Mossab, thank you for being with us here today. First, let's just start with this. With your background and your knowledge, the Red-Green Alliance, it doesn't make any sense. How could a socialist furry marching down the streets of New York have something in common with, perhaps, Hamas? So how does it work? Is it real?
Actually, they are opposing forces, and the reality is that we have been invaded. Today, we don't need Trojan horses to invade or to infiltrate our borders. We have been invaded through the internet. The communist countries, North Korea, China, Russia, they have been working around the clock to flood our internet, our social media with their propaganda. So they paved the way. They created the climate for somebody like Mamdani to come and represent their ideologies. On the other hand, also we have Qatar, we have Arab oil countries, we have Pakistan, we have other Muslim countries that basically posing as white people, as Americans, and they have been spreading Islamic indoctrination through the Muslim Brotherhood, through other platforms. Now, the average American really does not understand the green and red danger. This is the job of the CIA, of the FBI, intelligence services. They understand this danger. Now, the new generation of Americans, they really don't know the history, the long war between capitalism, or let's say the United States, the West, against communism, and the real danger of such a model. Now, these two models, the Islamic and communist models, they're anti-American at their core. And they want to push America in the backseat. And they want to change the world order. This is what they are aiming to do. Now, the new generation of Americans don't see this bigger picture. They think that every other country is just like the American model, that people demonstrate their freedoms. They don't see that these two models are failing models. And at best, what they can offer is a tyranny, a dictatorship, a totalitarian system. They can never succeed in representing a transparent democracy. And to import such ideologies to the United States means...
So I just want to ask you this really quickly. I see that the two sides have a common cause in destruction of the West, Western civilization, the United States of America, even if they do have very different visions of what rises up from the ashes. But while you said a Trojan horse isn't necessary today, you still have described Zohran Mamdani as a Trojan horse. Explain.
Yes, well, basically, had he not used the Muslim and the socialist cards, I would have not mind. If he represented himself as an American first and as an American last, I wouldn't mind. But the thing is that he is using such dangerous ideologies that contradicts with the spirit of New York, posing as the savior of the city. Well, the city is perfect the way it is. It's a perfect city. It's the most advanced city in the world. Okay, every city has its own problems, but this is the jewel of the Western civilization, and there is nothing like it. So he's coming to pose as a Muslim who wants to save the West. From what? From what? This is his hypocrisy. If he really cares for his people, why doesn't he go and build the Muslim countries, you know, where it's failing, where there is barbarism, where there is nothing close to New York City or to the United States. But he's coming to something that's completely developed, and he's posing that he's going to integrate it into something greater.
Did you hear that? Wants to save the West. And the guy says, from what? Yeah, from what? It is one of the most technically advanced cities in the world. Maybe besides, you know, California, you know, Silicon Valley or something, but still. The guy says that he's a planted or Trojan horse planted here to start all this. I can't help but believe him. I can't help but believe him, folks. How do you not? I mean, you know, it's everywhere. You know, he says all they can bring in is tyranny, dictatorship. And it's like the other girl said, you know, that's how they start this. It's how Miss Park said they start this. They promise this and promise that, just like Mondami's doing. They said that, you know, they want to give this free and that free, you know, just like Mondami. See any connection? See any resemblance? I sure do. So, friends, we've got to do something here. We've got to take back control of all this mess. The president's really trying. I just heard, you know, he lifted the deportation protection against Somalians in Minnesota. Good. ISIS headed into Minnesota and Dearborn. Good. They're all over the country. Good. Whatever it takes. Send the military into all states till this is cleaned up. Something. Get rid of these cities that protects these people and wants them. You know, get rid of this. And this is all one side. And it's not the Republican side. There might be people on that side, but I haven't heard of one. So, you know, I was watching Nick Shirley the other day, and he was at this protest in D.C. And me and my wife was sitting there, and, you know, we could literally sit there and pick out Republican and Democrat. It was so easy. The Republicans made sense. They were dressed nice. They had common sense. The Democrats, there was two of them chasing Nick Shirley around, playing music and blaring over loudspeakers and stuff, had purple hair. And I mean, you could just tell who they were. It wasn't hard. This is insanity. Insanity to the highest degree. So, folks, please share this. Share this to everyone. Check out Miss Park on Sean Ryan. Check, you know, if you don't want to watch one that long, check her out on Nick Shirley. Or, like I said, there's plenty of others you can find her on. That's the two I found her on. So, dig those up and watch them. You're not doing nothing on Thanksgiving Day, so dig it up and watch them. We've got to spread this, and we've got to do something about it, folks. So, anyways, please subscribe, like, Turn on your notifications and share this. I'd sure appreciate it. I hope you guys are having a great Thanksgiving. I wish you all the best. And we need to pray for this country. We need to pray that we keep our Christian roots, our Christian values. If not, you know what it could be, and it's not good. So anyways, I hope y'all have a great one. Thank you guys for watching. I sure appreciate it. Love you guys. Till next time, see ya.